so into it. Wie sieht denn das aus? Ich muss ganz ehrlich sagen, bin ein bisschen aufgeregt. Du steht auf Football, oder? Was spielst du da so für Technik? Enrico Martini Show, powered by football. Let's go! It's the 5th episode already. The first month was really cool for me. I had so many different guests, and even though not everybody is believing me, but I didn't know any of those guys. Today is in English again. I have like a really special superstar today. I'm really excited, but we had a little pre-chat already. He's like a really nice guy, and you should get to know him. If you have some questions, type it into the chat, and maybe I can bring it in. But first off, I want to say hello to Adrian Joseph Wentland. Hello.
How's it going? Thanks for having me, Enrico. I'm excited.
Yeah, we are really happy to have you. Like the fan voting made like the 8th most important player of the European League of last year. We are really happy to have you. You coming straight from the workout, you told me. That's why we pushed it to 9 p.m. Okay. Yeah. What kind of workout did you have today?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys pushing it back for me. I was just doing some sprints, a late night session with a couple other guys, just trying to get better and just take my time in the off season and take things kind of slow and get back into it. So like I said, I appreciate you guys moving everything back for me. And
no big deal.
It's good you guys can't smell me through the camera, but I had to rush home and do this. But I'm excited. I'm excited to chat and talk some football and get to know you a little bit.
That's really nice. I also want to get to know you since we have some similarities in our career. We share some teams we had the pleasure to play with, and since I retired, I feel it from day to day more. I'm missing it so much. That's why I'm looking forward for this hour or this half an hour. We will see how it will work out. I told you, everybody, it's only like half an hour, nice and quick. We will see how it will go today. But I'm missing the whole football environment. You were talking about your guys, where you are at the moment, at Dresden, at Leipzig. Where are your homies?
Yes, right now I'm staying with my girlfriend. We split time between Leipzig and Dresden. She's from Dresden. That's where I met her originally. So right now, just spending time with my girlfriend and working out with some guys that I know in the area. Since I played in Dresden for a few years, I know some guys there. And then obviously I played in Leipzig last year as well. So I still have some friends around here. So it's nice to meet up with them and have some guys to work out with. So you're not working out by yourself.
Yeah, Dresden is like a really nice city. I grew up there. I don't know if everybody knows. I was playing so many years for the Swaco Raiders, but I was really becoming kind of a man, and I had my first time playing American football in Dresden with the Monarchs, and that's one of your teams. We will come back to this later. You were talking about your sprinting workout.
Yep.
But let's be honest to us. You look so big on camera. That's not because of sprinting. You have, if I followed you the right way in the morning, you had like 2-a-days. You had some seated military shoulder press earlier in the morning. You do it topless all the time.
Oh yeah. That's the best way. You start with like a long sleeve on or like a sweater, and then by the time you get sweating, pop it off and get the pump going a little bit. So yeah, I'm doing a little bit of like a routine where I do a double day. If I'm doing like an upper body day in the morning, then I'll do sprints in the evening. So trying to just maximize my training and doing a little bit of a program, and I enjoy that. I really like that. I do personal training in the off season, so I do some stuff online, and then I work with some people in person as well. So I really enjoy that. I think that fitness will always be a part of my life, even after football. Like you said, that camaraderie that you have with football, you can't really replace that. So I guess the next best thing is I guess being in the gym and working out. So I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, I totally agree on that, because that's the only time now in the regular working life I can feel kind of the same energy in the gym,
Right.
because that reminds me of working out with my gym buddies, even though they're not lifting what my teammates used to lift, but
Right.
a little bit. Okay, I'm not satisfied with the music. I'm not satisfied about the not paying attention to the detail in doing the exercises. And for example, your exercise you were doing earlier this morning, that's a strict seated, no momentum military press. That's
Yeah.
for the strongman. It's no nothing. Okay, that's
Yeah.
no machine you're pushing, like isolated movement. There was some strongman shit you did that was really nice to see you.
Yeah, it was a little bit lighter, but like I said, just kind of restarting from scratch. It's the beginning of the off season, so trying to do some isolated movements and regain some strength and some size and everything, and slowly work through the progression and get more into some explosive things. And yeah, just take my time with it. You can't really rush training. You got to take your time with it. Take it one, day by day and be consistent with it. And but like I said, it comes naturally. I enjoy that. And it's a lot of fun, like you said, just to be able to work out with a few guys and I guess work towards a common goal of getting better.
What about did you work out together with Andreas Pröller in Innsbruck? He's
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
strength and
I
conditioning
really,
coach.
yeah, I really enjoyed working with Andy. I learned a few things from him, and really cool guy, and it was a pleasure working with him for the brief amount of time that I was in Innsbruck. But he knows his stuff. He's a really knowledgeable guy. He helped me tremendously with just running mechanics and strength and explosiveness. He's really good with Olympic movements. And yeah, it was really cool working with Andy. And he also works with a lot of different guys that aren't only in football.
Mm-hmm.
When I was working with him, he was working with like Olympic athletes and everything. So that was really cool to be able to go to Innsbruck and see some of those facilities and everything. And it was really cool. And especially because I was coming back from an injury at that point, and
Yeah,
Andy
exactly.
really,
You had that MCL, ACL,
yeah,
MCL.
yeah. So, yeah, MCL. I did that when I was in Finland, actually, in the championship game during like the COVID season. Everybody, everything was canceled in Europe. So I was still in Germany. I was in Dresden living there. So I went up to Finland because that was the only league that was playing, and I was fortunate enough to be in Europe to get the opportunity to go up there. And we made it like a little championship run. Kind of had like an all-star team because everywhere was canceled. So everybody went up to Finland and had the pleasure to play with a lot of guys that used to be opponents of mine, and it was a lot of fun. And unfortunately, though, I had to earn that championship game with an injury, but didn't leave the field. But it's definitely tough to have my first, I guess, real injury, and it was definitely a humbling experience to come
You
back from
play
that.
you played through the injury in the final, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was lucky that it was a rainy day, so I was pretty much worthless afterward. But I just took on blocks and still tried to run the ball. But I knew something wasn't right. It didn't feel right. But yeah, I came to find out that I had a completely ruptured MCL. But luckily enough, there was no other damage structurally, so they just had to take the ligament and screw it back into my tibia there. And anytime you have an injury, it's a humbling experience. It takes time. You have to go through the progressions, and maybe I rushed back a little bit too quickly. I played in like 4 months when I went to Innsbruck, and like I said, maybe a little too early, but that's all part of the process. You live and you learn, and I had a great experience going to Innsbruck. I mean, the teammates there, you know how it is, the camaraderie that you have with those guys. They were all really, really cool. All my teammates in Innsbruck, great friends. And then I got to play against those guys this year, and unfortunately, they whipped up on us pretty good. So it was fun
You
to be
took
able to see both sides of the coin.
you took many pictures in that stadium. It looked so funny to me. You had the new uniform on, but I was seeing you like feeling really comfy in that stadium. That's the
Yeah,
stadium I was playing for 11 years. It's a special place
it
to
is.
play in. That's what Schuhan like to say always. Hendrik will be proud of me that I bring Schuhan in somehow, because every time I have a guest here in the Enrico Martini show, I bring up Schuhan. Schuhan really did a lot with me for a long time, and Schuhan was like to say, that's like the Super Bowl for the opponent. So um, be be aware of that. They will maybe bring their A game, because that's the nicest atmosphere they can play in. And we have some good stadiums now in the European League of Football. So many fans in Düsseldorf or Duisburg. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's growing, and you're one of the parts of it. You're like you will turn 28 in December, right?
Yes, sir. Yep, I'll be 28.
So you will continue playing a little bit more, right?
Yeah. I still feel really good. I think this last season was a big one for me.
Yeah,
Because like I said, coming back from that injury, it takes
yeah.
time. And 2021 wasn't my best season individually. I was able to, be a part of two really good teams. I was with Innsbruck and won a championship there. But you know how the rules work, where you can only play with two A's before they went to the ELF.
You played
So I
like 5, 6 games, something, no? Right?
yeah, I wasn't able to really find a rhythm. And, they didn't really need a linebacker as much as they really needed wide receivers and defensive backs. So I didn't get to play as much as I would have liked to. But it was, at the end of the day, looking back on it, it was good for me to take that time to maybe not play as many games, to, take my progressions through practice. And whatever my job is, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. So if I was on scout team with the Raiders, I was going all out, and doing everything that I could, drawing off scout cards, and just try to be the best teammate that I could be. And
That's
then,
all. That's also the way you got back to Dresden, right? They were mostly using you rotational wise as a linebacker, but mostly as a special teamer. That's such a um, nice way of being a teammate. Like,
yeah,
other American imports, they want to come to the team, and they want to be the superstar. They want to get every snap and every ball and everything.
yeah,
Even though they're maybe not in shape, or I don't know, we all experience players like this. But you
right,
come to the player, I want to bring something to the whole. Um, I want to bring it to the table, something, so I can
yeah,
help the team. You're a team guy. I like your chanting, and before the game, wherever you went, you became one of the prominent guys that motivated younger guys, other guys. You're like really emotional, and that's what I like about you.
yeah. Yeah, no, I love the game, and I think that you can see that when with the way that I play, and also like you said, you're not always that. You don't always need to be the guy that's making the play or whatever it may be. I was that guy in Dresden my first two seasons, and then like I said, the 2020 season, I was also kind of a star type player going to Finland and everything. But then battling back from that injury, maybe taking a different role in Innsbruck, and then going to Dresden just to help them out, knowing that they had a good chance of making the German Bowl, and being in contact with Coach Olds throughout that season. And he was like, hey, like, we need some guys to help out on special teams. We need somebody that can really spark that third phase of the game. And I was like, Coach, I'm all in for it. If you want to bring me over for special teams and to be a guy that helps out in any way that I can, like, I'll do that. So we had a good linebacker that was already there. So going back to Dresden, I wasn't going to, take anyone's spot. I was there for if anybody was to become injured, any of the Americans. But they wanted to make sure that they were going to win the German Bowl that year, and it was a good way to kind of wrap things up in Dresden. And like you said, it was an amazing experience, to be
Was
able
it
to.
was it possible to win it earlier in your first 2 years in Dresden? Because I was playing for Dresden. We made it to the quarterfinals. In my last year when I was playing for the Monarchs, we lost against Marburg Mercenaries. It was like I guess I've never played in a game again where so many points were scored. I guess we lost 64-65, and
Oh
that's not
wow,
scripted. Um, we went for the 2 point conversion in the second or in the third overtime, didn't make it.
oh man,
And that's the way I ended my playing with the Dresden Monarchs. And there's
right,
also Dresden Monarchs watching us. Shout out to number 89. He just posted, like, I'm watching. Uh, I was
oh
one of
cool,
the guys he was spending with today. Um, So let's go back to that game. And we made it to the quarterfinals. And later, Dresden was playing in a high level. always had like really good import players, and they're really fanatic about the sports, the franchise itself.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure how soon they're gonna make it to the German Bowl, even winning it one day. What about, was there a difference in the first 2 years, and then you came back? You knew it's gonna happen now.
Right. When I was there in 2018 and 2019, we had really good teams. You know, Dresden is always, they always put together a good team with local players and, like you said, really good import players. 2018, I think we surpassed expectations. We went to the half finale, and we lost to Schwäbisch Hall. And that was a tough game. So, you know, re-signing, going back in 2019, we had a very good season once again, made it all the way to the half finale again, and we lost to Schwäbisch Hall again in 2019. And it was kind of like Dresden's kryptonite for a little while, it seemed like. And then, you know, during that time of COVID and everything, it was a hard time for everybody. So then, you know, once I was able to see something new, I wanted to try something new, see something different. Took my chances, went to Innsbruck, and then, like I said, I left. I've always been on good terms with the Monarchs. That was my first home. They allowed me to make a name for myself there, and I had lived there, you know, year round, you know, through 2019, the off season, the off season of 2020, where we weren't playing football, we were just running on the field together every day, you know, just making the Germans better, and just doing what we could to improve the local product that we had. So I think that that helped them get better in a lot of ways. They also had an exhibition match that year against Wroclaw, and the Germans, who usually don't play because of all the import players that are brought in, they were able to play a full game and not have anybody else to depend on. And I think that was a really good turning point for them to really raise the level of the local guys. So, you know, I was watching and keeping track of the guys the entire time through Dresden, or through 2021, keeping in contact with Olds. And once I went back there, I kind of knew that we were going to win it just because of the group of guys that they had. Coach Olds did a good job of building that culture with the German players and the imports coming together.
Such a tough thing, yeah.
Yeah, the import group that they had was very, very talented, and they were all very high character guys, which I think is important. So going into the German Bowl, you know, I think we were losing at halftime against Schwäbisch Hall. So the same team that we had lost in the half final in 18 and 19, and then we came back and beat them. And you know,
I watched obviously I watched this game. I was so proud because the first time I was standing on the American football pitch, I just started when I was 16. I started pretty late. Yeah, it was blue and golden. It is Vegas gold, actually. It's not some kind of gold. No, I was always following the team. Yeah. I was never winning the German Bowl. I had a couple of success. You did win the Maple Bowl. You did win the German Bowl, and the Austrian Bowl as well, right?
Yep. Yeah. So I had 3 within that short period of time from 2020 through the end of 2021. So it was like, I think it was like 18 months or 13 months or something like that, where I had brought together 3 championships. I think the most special one was the Finnish one, just because it was my first one, and it was just such a special feeling, I guess, just for the first one. Whereas I guess the one in Innsbruck was also very special, but I didn't feel like I was. I guess I didn't feel like I did as much on the field, so it was a different feeling. You know, like I didn't play in the championship game, for example. And then the Dresden one was also very special to me, just because it made it feel like all of the hard work that we put in 18 and 19, and even 2020, it made it worth it for me. You know what I mean? It made it feel like all the bumps and bruises that I put in, and all the hard work that I put in, and all the other guys obviously as well. It made it just, you know, come all together, and it was a good way to finish things up in Dresden. And then, you know, I wanted to see what this new league was all about.
You're talking so much about Dresden. 89 from Dresden is missing you. He's still writing and texting in the chat. Is there a possibility that you going back to Dresden? Do you want to talk about it?
I don't know. I still have a good you know, a good relationship with those guys, but I think that they have a bright future. They always do. They always have a good team. But I would like to continue playing in the ELF, and I do have plans to do so. Those things will be announced pretty soon here, but we
Oh,
won't
wow.
we won't announce them yet.
Did you see my announcement? I collaborated with D-Rob from my former teammate
Yeah,
from Darius Robinson. I was holding that little
yeah, that
picture
was
frame.
cool.
Um, I got some different poses. If you want to send me a video like 1 hour before the announcement, I will stick to the rules the new franchise
Yeah,
gives you. But I totally agree. If I was still playing, I only wanted to play in the European League of Football. Such a nice. I was always the show guy. You probably saw some things. I like to run in as a Thor and stuff like this.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that's the way I am, and that's why I always want to play up to the potential I can play in, and at the biggest stage. So I
Right.
totally agree. You should continue playing for the European League of Football.
Yeah,
All the fans from the European League of Football will be happy about it. Soon they're going to be an announcement. We are really excited for that. Is there a comeback to Innsbruck? I have no idea what's going on. Did he? Did he? What was making his face right now when I was asking? It's so funny.
yeah. Well, I
All the
don't know.
guys.
You gotta leave that suspense. So speaking with my coaches and everything. I told them I was coming on the show. They're like, all right, well, just don't keep it on the low. And but yeah, once I do get the thumbs up about the announcement, we might be able to do something like what you did with T-Rock. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm totally open to it. We will continue after this interview. We got another 10 nice minutes. Um, you next to your championships, you did win with the team. I wanted to ask you, you didn't win in college, in high school? You never did win a championship before?
No, no. So it always kind of seemed like we were like the second best team, like throughout
Okay.
my high school career and college, and it seemed like that through Dresden as well. Like we were always making it to the Hab finale. And in high school, we were always like the second best team in the conference, making it to the playoffs, and then maybe making it to the second or third round. Once I got to college, we were always literally my sophomore through my senior season, we were like the second best team in the conference. And I went to a small school, Division II, and University of Indianapolis was always like our kryptonite. They were always like the top team in the conference, and we were the second best team in the conference. So that was always a little bit frustrating, but it was a good time. I loved playing college football, especially at a small school where I was able to kind of to thrive and be an All American player and make an impact on my teammates and obviously they made a huge impact on myself as well. And yeah, I really enjoyed that time.
Yeah, I totally can feel that. But you were probably a little bit scared when you came to Dresden and it continued the way to be the second best and not making it to the final and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
it was a little bit tough there for a while, but then after putting a little bit of time in, I was able to get a few championships, and hopefully I can get maybe one or two more. You never know, or
yeah,
at least compete for one. That's what I want to do. To me, it's not always about winning it, as long as we're able to put a good product in the field and compete and be able to play the game the right way. You don't want to disrespect the game. You don't want to disrespect anybody who's came before you. You want to be able to put a good product on the field and do things the right way. So that's my goal wherever I go, is to help build the team around me, help make the guys better. And I love football in Europe, and I see that in my future. I want to continue
you're the
after I'm done
coach,
playing.
all person coach, you're a personal coach. You like to improve stuff where you come to, and that's that's really authentic about you. And that's all you can wish for as a team, to bring you in as like one of the top performers and still is really interested to bring the whole team to the next level. That's
Right.
really nice about you, and that's probably your mailbox will be like really full because all the European League of Football teams will be interested. Maybe you come to Vienna, and we
Vienna's
can
beautiful.
hang out.
Vienna's beautiful. Very beautiful city. Very beautiful city.
I was watching tape from you. Okay. I have no idea. If somebody told you that kind of feedback already, you're not the big hitter. Okay,
No,
relax.
I
It
totally agree.
it will probably hurt really bad. Okay, it will obviously hurt really bad when you crash in. No question about that for everybody in the European League of Football. Um, but you got something that is way more important. You are the sure tackler.
Yeah.
And that's so important. Kevin would really liked it about you because I wrote it down. Like this, what did I say? You're the sure tackler. You're taking great angles. Okay, it's so easy to draw it at the whiteboard, the right angle, but you're really taking it like really smart angles. That's what I see. Okay, and the next thing, you slips through blockers so easily. I have no idea how do you do that, even though being such a big player for this league. You're
Yeah.
really tall guy and big, but you slip
Yeah.
through somehow. It's so funny because there's somebody in front of you and still make it avoid to butt and then you're in front of the guy.
Yeah.
And then before the tackle, you shimmy down. For everybody that's watching, don't know the vocab. He's getting under control before he's tackling. He's not like jumping somewhere and missing him like really close. He gets under control, lowers his pad level, and then that's the most special part about your tackling. Then it is like I wrote down. That's like a lion-like snatch and grab. You
Yeah.
really grab close. It's not like you want to crash in so hard. You want to make sure he doesn't continue get any more yards, and you make sure to grab him. And it's the last little. It's not a jump. In football, defensive playing, we always say like jumping or lunging towards the tackle is really bad. That's like a snatch and grab. That it's
Yeah.
little explosive moment. It's so nice to watch you. It's so signature.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Did somebody tell you like this?
Well, first of all, I appreciate that breakdown there. I mean, it is fairly accurate as well. I think that taking angles is very important, especially playing defense. You have to take the right angles, and I'd say the biggest thing that I've learned through playing football is just hustling to the ball and having a high motor. Because if and that's what I preach to a lot of other linebackers and other defensive players that I play with is just getting 11 hats to the ball. If you get guys running to the ball, good things will
Swung,
happen. Yes,
swung.
on the ball. So if you're around the ball, good things are going to happen. You never know what could happen. The ball could pop out on the ground and you're right there, or one guy misses the tackle and you're right there. So just having that high motor, taking good angles to the ball, and like you said, it's not always about making a big hit. You want to make sure that you shimmy down and make sure tackle and wrap the guy up and try to pop that ball out. So try to get the ball on the turf. Those are the big keys that I've learned, and I think it started at a young age. Growing up in the U.S., I think that I had a lot of really good coaches and a lot of really good teammates. And my dad playing football, growing from a young age, and my brother playing football and learning from those guys. Because when I was a young kid, I would literally just chase my brother and tackle him or tackle the kids out and after school. So I think that helped me a lot just playing backyard football. Because if you're playing backyard football and you don't have any pads on, you're not going to go in and just try to truck somebody because that's going to hurt pretty bad. You don't have any pads on. So I think that just playing as a young kid really helped me a lot, and just continuing, through as I got older. And then, like I said, I've just been very lucky and fortunate to have really good coaches from, youth football into high school, into college. I went to a small Division II, but a lot of my coaches were really, really good coaches who had a lot of just a lot of different exposure at different levels. So I think that really helped, kind of grow my game. And then once I got to Germany, I also had good coaches here as well. So, I have to give credit to them. And, as
You
you
had
said,
so many
evading.
coaches now, right? You had so many coaches now. Who's like doing the position coaches at Leipzig? Because Armstrong is the head coach. You're really having like good words for him because you think he's like a really good head coach. But who's doing the position group with you right
So
now?
last season it was Coach Kent was the defensive coordinator. Coach Kent is now going over to Ryan Fire. He's an old school guy who was all over the CFL, NFL Europe. So he had a lot of football knowledge, and working with him was really, really cool because he, he just had a lot of knowledge and he kept things very simple in a lot of ways. And I liked what he ran as a defense. He had to keep things simplified just for some of the players that we had. We had some holes that we had to cover up. Um, but he had a wealth of football knowledge. And then we also worked with Coach Meach, and Coach Meach he was our linebackers coach, and he went to Northwestern and played all over Europe. And he used to be the coach at Wroclaw, so he's also been just all over the place. So the more that I've spent time in Europe, the more that I've met different people and networked with different coaches, and it's a big world, but it's also a very small world. And the longer that you stay in football, the smaller the group of people that coach and play football. I guess that fraternity gets smaller, so
Ah,
you
gotcha.
end up meeting more and more, so the more, I guess, knowledge that you can pick up from different players, coaches, and everything, and just being open minded and knowing that you don't know everything. And, as soon as you get good at one thing, you got to work on another. I think that's important as a football player and as a coach.
I have to correct myself. I got it from the boss here in my ear. Um, Armstrong is not the head coach anymore. It's Booker now. Is it true?
Yeah, Coach Booker will be taking over in Leipzig, and Booker is also a very, very good coach. He's a young guy. I played against Coach Booker in Finland, and then ironically, he was the offensive coordinator, so I didn't work with him as much last season in Leipzig. But very smart guy. I think that he has a very good plan for Leipzig moving forward, and yeah, Booker's a good guy.
Are you talking about Leipzig? A little bit like you're the Leipzig guys. It's not my team anymore. Just an impression I have. You're a free agent officially, right? At the moment.
I mean,
So
I guess so. Like I said, well, things should be coming out pretty soon.
you will
So
send me
I
that
guess I'm
little
not technically a free agent at this
um okay, you send me this little selfie video and I will make a nice little picture frame around it, and that would be nice. It would be such a great pleasure. Um, Dresden, Innsbruck, it feels so familiar. We could talk for another hour because we didn't really went into detail. Um, what is going on in Innsbruck? Because I'm gone now for 2 years. I don't really know what's up to date in Innsbruck. I want to talk about all about it with you, but um, time finally comes to an end. Um, I told you in the beginning that's also a platform for you. If you want to share something with your fans, normally nobody is asking you, nobody wants to know. Maybe you got something because you're the coach. Um you schooling other people. Like, what is something the elf should do, young players should do, your new teammates should do? I have no idea. Tell me something you always wanted to get rid of. That's the right moment.
Well, I guess for young players, just continue to work hard every day. It's about consistency. Go to work every day. You got to earn everything. Nothing's given. So if you want to be a good player, you got to work for that. You're only going to be as good as you work to be. So
Did
like
you
I
did
said,
you
you got to
help
work.
did you help Markus Schneider to become a better player? Markus
He was already
Schneider?
pretty good. By the time I got to that, that guy. He already kind of had a little swag to him. So I can't really take any credit for that one. He already had it. Once I got there, he was working hard and he had a chip on his shoulder, and not in a bad way. He's a great kid, and he just had talent. Like I noticed it right away. He was making catches over some of our better players, and you saw it this year. I think that Innsbruck, they have a ton of talent over there. Coach Kev is going to continue moving that program in the right direction. I really like working with Coach Heron. It should be interesting to see though with Sean leaving. That should be interesting to see how that goes. But I think Innsbruck is going to be fine. Their reputation stands for itself, and that it's a great place. The facilities, everything. How it is. It's a beautiful place.
Finally, because 10 years ago or like 2 years ago, there was no facility like this. We were practicing on a really bad field, and I've never practiced on this field. As the facility.
Football center.
Yeah,
But I think
exactly.
That's what I like about the guys in Innsbruck is like even though they have like the top notch facilities, everything that you could want, they still have like that blue collar mentality, and that they come to work every day. And like I said about the young players, about being as good as you work to be, they work their butts off every day, and that's what I really enjoyed that, being in Innsbruck and everybody had that mentality, like I said, or like how you brought up Marco Schneider, just one of those guys that works hard, and knows he can always be better, and that's how everybody should be, anybody who's at the top of their game, Tom Brady, anybody, they know that they can always be better,
Yeah, absolutely. The chat is like booming, and that's two guys that really want to tell you all the best wishes. It's Radko Zoller, my former teammate.
Oh yeah, tell me that. Thank you.
And Lane, and they really were behind it to get these greetings to you. They are liking the show. They like you. Everybody likes you. Do you have people like they don't like you? Who are your enemies? Tell me.
I don't know. I hope I don't have too many, but I'm sure maybe there's a couple. I don't know. But Lane, I love you, dude. And Radko, you're the man. Me and Lane really got along when I was in, and he played with me in Kuopio up in Finland, and that was a good time. I miss that guy.
Oh man, it's so nice. It's such a nice family, like European players, American players mixed up. Sometimes we play together and then we meet up together. And that's why I'm doing this whole stuff here for everybody. I just want to stay part of this whole thing because that's the only thing I am right now, okay? And I love it every time we meet here. Next time again, I have prepared, we have cooked something up. For next week. It's going to be a little linebacker heavy again, but some other really interesting guys from Hamburg. I don't want to say the name yet, but it's maybe going to be like two guys in one show. I'm really excited to have these guys here in the show because it's a really long time ago I've talked to Hamburg guys. So we will have it in German next time again. AJ, you're the man. I'm so sad that we have never played together, even though we played for the same teams.
Right.
I would have shared the field with you, but relax, okay? I'm telling this to myself, okay? Relax. We will stay in touch.
For sure.
You're a really good guy, and everybody should be like really happy to have you. And you have a couple of more years you can play, and you will be dominating this league, and you will hopefully win the championship of the European League of Football, because I guess your mindset is right, and you will bring your team wherever you go. You will bring it to the championship. Let's see if you win the game as well. That's it for today. AJ, if you have something you want to tell us, but for me, I'm totally exhausted again because it's so overwhelming jumping into that football thing after a regular working day. Yeah. And I'm fired up right now. I want to. I had Coach Harrods last week, the head coach from Prague. He also wrote me afterwards, like he was fired up as well. I hope all the whole audience, all the listeners, all the watchers send me feedback. If I'm doing something shitty, let me know. I will try to change it. We are like coachable. We are American football players. We can change it, okay? If I'm reading out your questions like really the wrong way, let me know. Give me more feedback. The feedback I get at the moment is really polite. I'm really happy about it. AJ, you're the man. I'm excited how many workouts you're going to do tomorrow, but you will be in the best shape for the upcoming season. Stay healthy. I'm so happy to see you at the upcoming games, wherever it is. Maybe some teams invite me finally, so I can come and make some actions on your sideline. I will bring the Austrian guys. That's it for today. But last words to you, AJ. You're a really nice guy. Your turn.
Hey, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I had a good time. And Enrico, I look forward to meeting you in person. And wherever I'll be, you'll find out soon. I'll give you some tickets and everything. So I want you to come on out, and we'll take care of you.
I will scream like a crazy motherfucker. Du bist so into it. Wie sieht denn das aus? Ich muss ganz ehrlich sagen, bin ein bisschen aufgeregt. Hier steht doch Football, oder? Was spielst du da so für Techniques? Enrico Martini Show, powered by Football. Let's go!